and share. And I'm going to go over to Lee Perry right now so that she can share with us out of the Indiana market. She's going to share with us the stories that she's got.
Well, Jane, actually, I want you to kick it off, because one of the things that I've been sharing with my folks here in Indiana, I've been doing a lot of presentations to senior facilities and older folks, and talking about how to protect their identities. One of my members had, well, she's now a member, but someone had reached out to her about the new plastic Medicare card, and she needed to have that, and gave up all of her information. We got her taken care of. And immediately got a case opened with the IDShield advisor, and then luckily they've been able to help her. But one of the things that I wanted you to share, Jane, was the story that you did about how important the sex offenders section of our IDShield is. If you don't mind sharing that story, and then I'll build off of that as well.
Well, absolutely. I just this weekend, I work part-time 2 days a week at a Hilton property here in my area, and which I love, because when I go to convention, I only pay $40 a night for the room, and I'll do that all day long. So I was at work, and we had a very odd gentleman a guest in the hotel with his mother. This man was in his 50s, in the hotel with his mother, but he kept hanging out, and we were getting bad vibes, and he was asking where some women's rooms were, and he was knocking on doors, and then he walked in on a housekeeper, and it was just a terrible situation. It was creepy. We called the police, and we wanted to have this man removed. One of my colleagues, she was looking up, she goes, I think he's a sex offender. And she looked up his name, and she was looking up information by name, and she found some things that verified that. Well, I pulled up my IDShield app and did a search within 5 miles of where this man's address was, and sure enough, I got his picture, I got all of his information, and was able to show that to my colleagues and to our manager, and we called the police. We had the man and his mother removed from the property because it was making people uncomfortable. And it was a very awkward situation, but it was nice to know that I have that IDShield right there and could pull that up and show everybody, who this man was. So IDShield, that's just one little portion of IDShield that is so powerful when we show that to people. So that was my story, Lee.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jane. I didn't mean to interrupt. That's one of the things that I wanted to point out, that there's, the service is so robust that we really have to spend some time getting into it and understanding what all it does and how it protects us. And one of the things that one of our members that has done is that she shared, because she lives in a neighborhood that's a walking neighborhood, she made sure that all of her kids had the app on their phone, and they were aware who the sex offenders were by sight, so they knew what they looked like, so that they could be extra cautious while they were out walking around. So that's important as well too. And then I also wanted to share, I've had a recent conversation with someone who is going through a very messy divorce, and I always recommend that they get IDShield, whoever it is that I'm talking with, because the other party has their Social Security and their birthday. And one of the things that I've learned helping people make better decisions in these situations is that you just don't know how people are going to react, whether it's a divorce or a death. Divorce is kind of a death in a way. You just don't know how people are going to react, and you've got to protect yourself. So it's super important, as we talk to folks who are going through these situations, that we encourage them to get IDShield as well, so they're protecting themselves and their children, if they're children, because they don't know how the other party, or the crazy ex-laws, I call them, are going to react. Does anybody else have a situation about IDShield that they'd like to share? We all know that when we're most distracted is when the bad guys are most active. And this time of year, there's so many different distractions that we know there's all kinds of ways that we cannot be paying attention to all kinds of things. If you have a situation or a member who's had a wonderful IDShield experience, we'd love to hear about it.
And Lee, I know we have some great people on here tonight that do have stories. We just need them to unmute and let us know, or raise your hand. Karen, Paul.
Jane?
Brenda.
Yeah,
I
Right.
had
Okay, Karen.
somebody
Brenda,
go
go
on
ahead,
my
Karen, and then Brenda.
yeah. I had somebody go on my Facebook and my LinkedIn, and within 30 minutes, the ID theft investigators took care of it. Got double verifications and everything. And he was gone.
Well,
was a
that's
guy.
fantastic. So Karen, talk a little bit about that. Did he try to take over your accounts? Is that what he had done?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I know that one of the things that with the gal I was talking about earlier with the Medicare thing, one of the things that the advisor had shared with her is that anytime you can implement second factor, two-factor, or even three-factor authentication to put that in place. So fantastic. Well, that's good to know that they were able to get you taken care of and restored. Thanks for sharing, Karen. And Brenda, I know you had a story as well.
yes. About a year ago, I'm in my ID app and they had all these notifications. And I opened each one of the notifications and I didn't understand. I didn't understand what it was telling me. So I called in and it was just amazing. The IDShield specialist, he went through every one of those notifications, and I'm embarrassed to say there was probably 20, which meant I was not on it, going in regularly. And he went through every one of those notifications, and I promise you, he spent 45 minutes with me explaining what they meant. I mean, that's just insane, and it's just peace of mind. Back to you, Lee.
That's fantastic, Brenda. I had a similar experience when Edsel started having his memory issues, where I was focused elsewhere and I had a bunch of those back up, pile up, and I hadn't had time to go through them. And the advisor actually stepped through them with me, and we made a couple of calls to find out what the notifications were, because I didn't recognize them, didn't know what they were. And she actually did three-way calls with me with those folks to find out exactly what that was. So my experience with them has been that the advisors are much like our attorneys. They never say, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Why are you calling us about that? They always treat everybody that I've called in with respect. I will say one caution is that as folks are signing up, make sure you're helping them sign up. I have a member who's having difficulty because he has some memory issues and is starting to, and those 4 questions at the beginning that they verify that it's really you, it's been a little bit difficult getting him signed in and verified. Does anybody else have situations that they've helped members or that they personally have experience with IDShield?
Lee, I have a good story for you.
Great. Thanks, Ann.
This is Ann Palmer. I signed a document recently, through the computer electronically to a bank. And so as soon as I pressed send to send the document, in about less than 2 minutes, my cell phone was ringing from IDShield and asking me to verify that that was me. And it was, of course, but the monitoring that they do, which is live, is so robust and so on spot. So I felt so very good. I knew that they were watching my back. So, I mean, the notification was so quick. So they are watching us. So that everybody should have peace of mind about that.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Ann. And I know one of the things that we've learned through the years with our monitoring is that the payday loan thing doesn't hit our credit reports for 90 days, but we know about them, like you said, right away. So any of the high risk exposure that we have that may or may not show up on your credit report for up to 90 days, you do get notifications about right away. And I wanted to also share, if you haven't been the folks that you network with, or that who are financial advisors, we're, as far as I know, as if somebody knows differently, please let me know. We're the only ones that are monitoring investment accounts. So I actually have a friend I say she's married and divorced very well, a couple of doctors. So she monitors her investment accounts regularly. And she was up early on a Sunday morning and her Morgan Stanley account, she got a notification that her second factor authentication had changed, which she couldn't figure out how they got into it. But she happened to be looking at like 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, got the notification, was on the phone with the Morgan Stanley fraud investigators when her phone dinged, and it was IDShield saying, "You've got a problem." And she said, "I'll never be without it." So in case you know anybody that's in that industry, you might let them know that we are the only ones that, as far as I know, that monitor the investment accounts, and it really works. Anybody else have any stories that they'd like to share about IDShield?
You know, Lee, I see that we have Katie Huff, we have Teresa Johnson, we have Paul Archuleta, we have so many people on here. I'm sure you guys have some stories, and it doesn't have to be just identity theft, maybe legal as well. A lot of us are in group environments right now. I know that I'm doing several hospitals in my area, and they have great concerns about medical identity theft. They're very careful about medical identity theft, and they appreciate our product for that reason. They also understand that they could suffer a breach within their own organization, and that's how the IDShield is protecting them while they're at work and protecting the organization as well. And this is the reason we wanted to talk about identity theft tonight a little bit also, is that this is the highest identity theft crime rate time of the year. We're in it. It's happening to people everywhere, and we just need to talk. They can think that we're obnoxious. I don't care. They need to hear about it, right? It really is that important. So does anyone want to, tell some stories?
Teresa, are you unmuted to tell us a story?
Well, I guess really to say that, and Jane, you're absolutely right. This is the season. 'Tis the season that we really, really need to be proactive when it comes to protecting our identity. I know even we're shopping online. Though, if you're like me, I don't want to be in the stores. I'd rather do it online. And so one of the things that when I had a conversation with the IDShield representative, and I expressed to them that I'm really uncomfortable with giving my personal credit card. And so I use Cash App. I put whatever little bit of money I need to put over on that Cash App. I go and buy whatever it is I'm going to go buy online, and that's it. And I don't have to worry about it. And the reason why I became very hesitant is because while Amazon had a serious problem. I had like 17 different accounts with Amazon. I had no clue what they were. And IDShield helped work through that whole ordeal for me. And after that, I just said, I don't give Amazon, I like shopping on Amazon, but I don't give them my actual credit card. So I would encourage, if you Cash App, Venmo, whatever you need to do, but I don't give my personal one. And then just this week with Amazon, they deliver to my building all the time. I live in a secure building. All of the people who deliver have access to the code to get in. So I got a notice saying we were unable to deliver. You know, United States Postal Service was unable to deliver. And I'm like, how is that? Because the postman knows the code to come into the building. So it said, you're going to need to have, fill out. I see you shaking your head, Joan. You're going to need to go into this email, and you'll need to have us, Robert, seen it too. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Go into this email, and you're going to need to have us to come and redeliver. And there's a fee to redeliver. And the fee was minimal. It was 30 cents. But it's just something about it was my 30 cents. And I'm like, okay, let me see if this really works. So of course I put 30 cents on my Cash App. And when I put it, it said, oh, we don't accept that type of card. You're going to have to use a real credit card. Ding, 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 ding. I knew right away that it was, when did the post office charge you to redeliver? So I'm saying small things like that you have to pay attention to, because somebody might just say, oh, well, let me have them re-deliver it out because I sure don't want to go and out to pick it up. How about the next day? The next morning, Amazon delivered the package right to my door.
Wow. And it was the same package.
The same package. It was I ordered 3 things and one of them didn't come. And that's somehow or another, they found out that package wasn't delivered and they wanted to
Wow.
charge me. And I called the post office and they said, we don't charge for that.
Wow,
And
Lee,
then
They want to get your information.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
they did. So
yeah.
I'm just saying we have to be proactive, even for ourselves, before we even get to calling IDShield. There are a lot of things that we can preclude from happening to us if we just simply pay attention. If it feels, look, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
You know, one of the things, Teresa, that when I do these presentations, especially the older folks, is I give them permission not to answer the phone, because people that are 80 and over were raised that you answer the phone within 2 rings. I say, if they are not in your contact list, do not answer the phone. That's why God made voicemail. And if your gut says there's something wrong, don't jump on it. Because go with your gut. If it doesn't feel right, there's probably something wrong with it. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is. There's no such thing as a free lunch. All those trite things that Mama used to tell us, that's it helps protect us now with IDShield. Thanks
You
so
know,
much, Teresa. Jane?
Lee,
There.
Shonda says in the chat here, Shonda said, I get them all the time. We all, as we noticed as Teresa was talking, we're all nodding. We get them all the time, but there are many people, as Lee mentioned also, elderly especially, that are now ordering things online for Christmas, and they don't do it all the time, and they probably don't get these all the time. So these are the people we need to let everyone know. There are some people that only order at Christmas time, and they may not be getting these notices that we get because we do a lot on Amazon. We've got to get the message out there. This is that important.
You know, Jane, that's one of the things. I see Karen is unmuted again too, but I just wanted to share, you know, IDShield makes a great gift. My mom lives 1,000 miles away, and she's in her 80s, and she's sharp as a tack and mean as a snake, but I want to make sure she's taken care of, right? And so I pay for IDShield for her on a monthly basis, you know, $15, $20 a month. There's somebody else watching her back. And she's got it all set up. So I know that and she's talked to them before. So I know that she knows how to do it. So Karen, did you have something else you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention there are so many scammers that call and they want all your information. It's like we've got a deficit. You know, we got a loan for you and we want to get all your information. Do not give it out to anybody that you do not know.
Well, and here's something else, Karen, that's coming up. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but all of the scoop about AI, no matter where you stand on this, what they do when you engage, they're recording your voice. Okay. And that's what I tell all my seniors, you know, that when you engage there, because a lot of times you hear, especially guys, it's something about the testosterone. You guys like I'll show them they're not going to get the better of me. But when you engage, they're recording your voice. They can repeat that pattern. They can use AI to do all that. And then they can say that, oh, well, we have a recording of them saying yes to new windows or new roof or whatever it is, you know. So I just tell all my seniors, just don't even engage. Teresa, did you have something else?
You know what? When you said that, that's why when people call and they'll say, "Is this Teresa Johnson?" And most people would say, "Yes." I don't. I'm saying, who wants to know?
You
Who
know,
wants to know? Because I'm not saying yes, because they record your yes and use it
against
on
you.
a lot of different things. So I don't say yes. I'm saying who wants to know. And then if I know some people in Legal Shield, they answer the phone regardless, because you never know. But even when I'm doing leads, until I am officially going to remove that person, I actually put them in my phone and put underneath it leads, so their name. So when they call, I know who that is as opposed to an unknown number. And then some of them have become so brazen that it comes up on my phone, scam likely.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't even answer those.
Yeah. And some phones you can block those calls. Of course, if they're spoofing somebody, you know, that could be a problem. But the other thing I was going to say is watch clicking. I mean, we all know we don't click links in emails, but be careful of clicking links in your texts. I don't know if you guys heard about this gal that lost her entire life savings. She was a Chase Bank customer. And as you said, the scammers have gotten so sophisticated, they mimic the Chase Bank. Is this a fraud? Is this you or is it fraud? She clicked the link and it wasn't Chase Bank, it was somebody else. Long story short, she ended up losing all her life savings, $250,000 to the scammers. She sued Chase Bank and she lost because Chase said she didn't do everything she could to protect herself. So what I'm sharing with folks here is that if they get a text alert, is this you or is this fraud? I'm recommending that they get their debit card out and call the number on the back of their debit card. And I see Glenda has her hand up. Glenda, did you have a story for us as well? Can you unmute where you can share with us, Glenda?
She's trying to.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Ah, there she is. Hey, Glenda.
Hi. Yeah,
Linda,
I
we
wanted,
can't see you.
yes, I'm on my tablet and that
Oh,
camera.
that's right. That's right.
Yes, but hello, family. This is a great topic. I'm so glad I was able to join tonight. But I wanted to share, I got an email from PayPal. And you know, they're so sophisticated that that PayPal logo looks like the real PayPal logo. And so and it said that $549 had been charged for something I bought, something like a Bitcoin, but it was some other cryptocurrency. And so I was like, oh, and it said to, if you didn't do this purchase, call this number. So I did call the 800 number, and it was a foreigner who answered the phone. And I didn't say say anything at that time because I personally called IDShield and had someone with a foreign accent to answer. But at any rate, they said, well, ma'am, what we're going to do is I need you to go to your, do you have an Android or iPhone? Android. Go to your Play Store and download this app. So I always do research, and the app was saying how it allows them to go in and do all this stuff remotely. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So he said, well, ma'am, if you don't do this, I'm not going to be able to help you. I said, no problem. I said, I'll have my licensed private investigator on the line with me. And so he's like, okay, well, that's no problem. I don't care who you have on the line. Just go ahead and download the app. I said, no, I'm going to dial in my third party licensed private investigator to make sure this is legitimate. Oh, we are legitimate. All we want to do is help you. It's okay. So he said, so go ahead and download the app. I said, okay. And I hung up. So I called IDShield. And when I called them, it was a person with a foreign accent to answer the phone. And he said, oh, I'm so glad you didn't do that, Ms. Foreman. He said, what I'm going to do now is connect you directly to PayPal. And so the person at PayPal informed me, said, well, first of all, PayPal is not going to say, hi, customer. We're going to directly address you by your name. So if you get any type of email from anybody, it just says, hi, customer, that's not us. And she said, and also, this is our phone number. She gave me direct phone number, which was different from the one that was in my email. And she said, so we will not ever do that. And so she said, I'm going to, make sure that everything is okay. I don't see a credit for $549 on your account. And to be honest, I never did see one. So that's something I just wanted to share to let you know how they really mimic you, and then how IDShield directly connected me to PayPal and what PayPal's procedures are.
That's
So I just wanted to
fantastic.
share that.
Thanks, Glenda, for sharing that. And the other thing too, y'all, you can set up your PayPal, and I'm probably Venmo and some of those other accounts where you get notification right away. You know, I have to have a second party authentication before anything is charged.
Oh, that's
So,
what I did. So thank
yeah,
you. I
yeah.
did
And then
too.
that way, because I had that same thing happen, I was like, wait a minute, because I shop a lot, especially now where I live on Amazon. But I was like, I didn't get a notification. Oh yeah, it's fake. It's fraudulent. You know, Jane, I know that we're closing down on time, but I think we had one more hand up before Teresa, before I go back to you. Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
No, I don't know if anybody has mentioned this, but let's also be very cautious when you're needing assistance with your computer, with your app or whatever. Because I even told Trend Micro, they asked could they have remote control over my computer, and I said no. You can tell me what to do, but I'm not giving you remote control access. So I would say even be careful with that. Like McAfee and Norton, sometimes when you're having difficulty with the software or whatever, they'll ask for that. Be careful who you give that remote control access. I'm like, no, I'll just figure it out, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
They have a lot of foreigners. I have one thing to say. June 1st, the Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles was hacked by Russian hackers. 3.5 million IDs were stolen. It's amazing.
You've got your work cut out.
Yeah.
That's a great segue. Thank you so much, Karen. Thanks for everybody that shared this evening. And it just underscores what Teresa told us. We need to be proactive. You know, there are folks out there that have no idea how exposed they are, and we can help protect them, because you know what? There's no price you can put on peace of mind. And back to you, Jane.
I wanted to see Sheila Bird, I know, is on here. Sheila, would you like to close us out? I know you all do a lot with IDShield. Would you like to close us out tonight?
All right. Well, no, I was engaged. You guys told some stories, boy. I tell you, because we have to. I hope everybody took note of all the stories that were shared, because we have to share the stories. We can tell people to protect themselves, and they'll be like, yeah. But when you give them the actual situations that have occurred and educate them about how real identity theft is out here, then you'll get them to understand that they need to get this service. Okay.
Mhm.
So guys, all I can say, take note of that and understand that right now, today is Cyber Monday. Okay. And believe me, everybody's getting, I done got so many emails today about who buy this, sell this, that, all that. Always, Teresa said it, be cautious first. Don't just jump on anything. If your gut feeling said something's not right, absolutely. Okay, something's not right. Take a step back from it and make sure you utilize the tools that you have to protect yourself when you're out here. Okay, so great call, guys. Great call. Absolutely.
And with that, happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, happy holidays. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just be diligent, show and show everybody that you meet what we have. So it's so important. And join us next week. This is the last call. This is our last Zoom for November. Next week will be December, y'all, last month of the year. So we're going to make it a good call next week, and just join us. See you then. Don't forget the communication show on Friday on the 1st of December for all the new stuff coming up. So see you all then. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Great
y'all.
call.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. It was dandy.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.